Hey everybody, my name is Drew. Welcome back to my modeling channel here on YouTube. And in this video we're going to take a look at the Revell 172nd F-15E Strike Eagle. And this is a kit that was tooled in 2022. It originally came out in this boxing that you're probably more familiar with. And of course they changed decals and recently released this kit not too long ago. If you're here in the States and you go into Hobby Lobby, this is what you'll find. And I got it at a good discount, and who doesn't like a Strike Eagle? And especially I love the D-Day commemoration markings on this. I think it was the 75th anniversary of D-Day. In this video, let's take a look and see what we have in the box. So join me over here as I switch the camera around and let's take a look. Thanks. All right, guys, let's take a look at the box art. Really cool. The markings for this is from the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, and which took place in well, the commemoration took place in England, and they had vintage planes painted up in the D-Day markings, and our F-15 was painted up in the D-Day invasion stripes. So this is a really cool, very cool scheme. Okay, and of course it says all new tooling, which is 2022. Let's take a look at here on the sides. What do we have here? Gives a little bit of information about the F-15 and information here: recessed panel lines, extensive assortment of ordnance, AIM-9, Sidewinders, Sparrows, 82 Mark 82 and GBU-12 bombs, detailed cockpit with multi-piece seats, decals for 2 versions, and here we have Revell paint callouts, which I don't use Revell paints, but that's what the kit's going to recommend. And then over here we have manufactured 2022 Revell. Of course, Revell's based out of Germany, and it's made in Poland, and decals printed in Italy. Woo! That means cartograph. Woohoo! Hopefully. So here's a view of the 2 different markings that you get. They're basically the scheme is the same, but you can have a red on the tail or yellow on the tails, and looks pretty awesome. And this was D-Day Heritage, the Statue of Liberty Wing, 492nd, 494th Fighter Squadrons, 48th Fighter Wing, RAF Lakenheath, England. And here's some photos of the built-up kit. Looks pretty sweet. All right. Okay, so I have not opened this yet, so let's get it open and take a look on what we get. Some on the side. There we go. Right there. So you get one bag with a couple screws in there, and another bag with, looks like we have maybe 3 screws. We'll open them up here in a minute. Clear parts. And you have your Revell Germany instructions. And then we have our decals. Oh, stuck to it. Okay. Keep this on there. It's really, decals look awesome. So being printed in Italy, which I'm going to make the assumption they're cartograph, I might go ahead and use the stripes, because again, I want people to see what this looks like being built completely out of the box, because this is a popular kit that you find in in Hobby Lobby, which if you're from the States, you know what that is, and you can get it on sale. So I want people to be able to view this and watch the build and everything that comes out of the box. So for our instructions, pretty straightforward. Gives you, symbology, what the symbols mean. Here's our paints. And again, I don't use Revell paints, so I'll just be using typically use Vallejo, so Vallejo Tamiya equivalent. We'll start with the cockpit, of course. Building up the the seats, the ejection seats. And since this is an F-15E, it's going to be 2. Looks like you do get some decals for some of the instrument panels. So this looks just really straightforward, typical aircraft. Start with the cockpit, put all the fuselage parts together. So it's a pretty straightforward build. I'm speeding through these instructions, and there was also a very noisy car outside my window making a beeping noise, and I didn't notice it while I was recording. But when I played it back, it was pretty annoying. So you do get a lot of weapons with this kit. Being a commemorative plane, though, that wasn't really loaded up for war. So, I mean, you certainly can, but I'm not going to use them all. So I like the full color. That's awesome. And shows you what color to paint the bombs. Quite a few stencils. All right, it looks really good. So let's take a look at the parts. Here's our clear parts. Okay, and there is a seam line down the middle of the main canopy. That's unfortunate, but we'll have to get rid of that. It's just a matter of using, scraping it down, and then using some fine grit sandpaper, polishing it. Here's the windscreen, same thing. It has an ugly seam line right down the middle. Oh boy, that's terrible. But it can be dealt with. If you can see that or not. Yeah, it's pretty prominent too, so. And otherwise the glass is, it's pretty thick. They're actually really thick. So, I don't know. Kind of makes me wonder if Squadron has a vac form canopy for this kit. That would be nice. Let's just take it in order of the box. So let's take out these two. Alrighty. So everything's got some finely engraved panel lines. Really nice moldings. I mean, you're hoping that it is being tooled in 2022. Or the part of the intake assembly. It's part of the nose. Nose cone. Part of the seats. Here we have our vertical stabilizers. inside landing gear doors, so it looks like there's a nice detail there. And here are compressor fans. And here's the top half of the wing assembly. Again, the detail looks really nice. Finely engraved panel lines are not too big. It looks really cool. Here's our two external fuel tanks, one of them anyway. So those are in halves, so we've got to deal with the seam line. Here is the part of the cockpit tub. Control stick. The rest of the ejection seat assembly. Cool. Make some room here. All right. Gotta have a sip of coffee. Let's just start with a bigger one first. So, okay, so here's part of the fuselage. This looks like it goes in the front. I'm not sure if that's the back or the front cockpit. We'll find out. Yeah, everything is it's nicely molded. I mean, very nice plastic. It's pretty hard plastic too. It's the rest of the ejection seats. Here's the instrument panels. There's our other drop tank, and you can see it has the hard point already attached to it. And we have our weapons. There's some Sparrows. There's our bombs. Sidewinders. Really like these. I'm not sure if those are GBUs or Mark whatever. So, and then we have our engines right here, or the exhaust nozzles for the afterburners. So, wheels and tires. We got good detail there. And these little dudes are the, I think what they call turkey feathers or something like that. And those can be a little tricky. Got to be careful with those. So, and they look like the way they're attached to the sprue to the gate here. It's really, really thick. So, don't want to use clippers. You want to use a knife to cut those out. And then when we put them, when you mount them to the back of the engine here, back of the exhaust. Okay, there's that. There's some more drop tanks. So I think you get 3. So you get 2 for the wings and 1 for the center underneath. So this is basically a duplicate sprue. So you end up with 4 bombs. So some of these will be used again, I bet. I bet they maybe will repurpose this kit someday and make it into maybe a C version or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that looks pretty good. So it looks like a fun build. I have seen good reviews for this kit. Whoop. Sorry. So I've seen good reviews, so it does go together pretty well. Really unfortunate about the canopies, the clear parts, the ugly seam line down the middle. That's really, really prominent. So, which can be dealt with. I've done one before, done a kit where it had a seam line. And yeah, so otherwise, I'm looking forward to building this. So thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you find my videos helpful, consider giving me a sub and give me a like and give me a thumbs up, and stay tuned, and I'll be building this and putting up updates. So thank you for tuning in. This is Drew. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.